I knew he's gonna wild out and he's gonna do something crazy. Everybody want to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
All right, so now we're looking at what's going on for overnight. We're seeing futures dump off here. We're looking at ES. So we're closing some of these gaps down that we kind of created. Spot, we can see tech is pretty weak here. We know we saw that Friday. We saw Nvidia kind of knife out there. And so there's more news coming out with, Deep Seeker, whatever that OpenAI, China's AI is going on with that. So I think this is kind of an overreaction, but it gave us a reason to close these gaps below. So we pretty much did that now. We're seeing that MNQ is hitting this 21,560, 21,536 demand and kind of hold in here. More than likely going to hold here, possibly reverse, come back into range. I expect range, from Monday and Tuesday going into kind of, Fed decision, Wednesday earnings, all that. So I expect kind of us to be back in this range, which was all this is pretty much last Friday and last Thursday's kind of range here. And if we take a look at kind of SPY and all that, we can see that sure we did have that daily gap that we're now probably sitting at around 603. We hit that, filled it, and now we're probably around there. I would say SPY needs to hold 600 going into Fed decision. Anything above 600, I believe, is bullish for SPY. Anything like if we start losing 600, it's going to get real hard for bulls to kind of do what they need to do. So more than likely, we do have bigger gaps below, way below, but more than likely the bears are going to try and start aiming for those. So that's kind of a thing. QQ as well, we're kind of filling that gap here. And so here's the thing. I'm looking at on the daily, and it looks like if we look at the pattern here on the daily, we did break out the last few days, and now that we're coming down, is this a possible breakout retest here on this yellow trend line? We're sitting right around that right now after hours. Let's see what happens or where we open there. If we look at it on our normal kind of hourly stuff, like I said, more than likely we're down here already. We closed the gap down. So QQ needs to stay above 525. Definitely needs to stay above that for bulls to kind of work here. We're not at all-time highs just yet, but we're kind of close. Now, there are purple lines around us, and so that makes a lot of sense. These purple lines, obviously, my purple lines levels kind of tell us that this is a huge spot. Whether we're at it or not, it's going to be a huge spot when news comes out because we're either going to launch or reject off it. So depending on what side we're on there. So you can see that we did run very close back to where we were on the last Fed decision and how we sold off completely. Now, my theory still stands on SPY. Now, SPY's a lot stronger here. I'm not really looking for longs on QQQ. Tech is pretty weak. Apple getting beaten down. I would need to see earnings for me to really look for longs on QQQ. So with that being said, Q being weaker, we take a stab at that on downside. If we start getting more downside, we're going to be looking at that. I just think we have a lot of support. A lot of support under 525 right there, but the beginning of it all at 525. But all this area right here is just a lot of support. If we look at the volume profile, we see just shelves here. Now, look like we closed the gap here. I told you guys this was low volume right here. Not many buyers, sellers sitting right there. I knew under 528 would pull us right back down to 525. I was aiming for that if that came Monday. Obviously, it's already getting closed out. Maybe bears are trying to get it out the way and bulls aren't trying to stop it, so they can have no reason to go lower. We'll see. But we have a lot of support down here for Q right there, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that as well. And then as you guys know, for SPY, it looks like after hours here we're sitting right at that 603 where we closed the gap. We have a decent amount of support here at these zones, but we'll just play it zone by zone if we have to. Ideally, I would like for us to stay above 603, 604, 605 range. If we end up eating the gap kind of back up, then I'll be looking for calls on SPY on these dips on the way back up. I'll probably go weeklies or some day trades, which would be like 1 day, 2 day expiration. We'll see about that. The closer we can get back up here to 609, 610 range before CPI, or right at CPI, that's going to be the key thing. So I'm looking around the market too. Nvidia has a lot of support as well down here. I was thinking about shorting Nvidia if we go zone to zone, play some zones, but we have a lot of support down here. So I would need to see it lose 135. I don't know where we are after hours, but if we lose 135, I'm all right. I'm okay with wanting to take some shorts there as a day trade. We'll keep our options open Monday when I do the pre-market scan. I'll be trading live, so we'll see what's up. Amazon looking really good for the upside if it can hold up here. I think after hours, or Robinhood saying it's down at 230 around here. As long as it holds 230 around here in the yellow trend line, it's still good to go going into the week. Looking for that upside above 235. Things could get really explosive. Same thing for Google. Google held up really well here. More than likely back down here now. If it can knife, same thing. If it can knife again, kind of like this and hold up, more than likely this will run to probably back to 2 here, back to 201, 203 area. Anything above this right here, I'm going to take some longs on that as well and see what we can do there. I'm really liking that setup, but that won't be until probably Tuesday. We'll see. We do have big tech earnings, so I'm kind of reluctant to want to be messing with tech until I see some turnaround. But yeah, up the bat's going to be Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, and then Apple. We don't really care for Apple, but it's going to be very tricky, right? If we get the move we really want, we need to be all out by Thursday, because we don't know what Apple's going to do, or possibly Apple beats and then sends it, a nice little bounce, and then just kind of adds a good, upside more into Friday, Thursday, Friday. So maybe we'll see. But GDP Thursday before open, so it's going to be stacked. I mean, completely stacked. This week is going to be insane, and this week is going to be the week that sets the tone for the next 3 months. And I mean by that because of these earnings reports. If some of these big companies miss or sell off, or the guidance is bad, or in any way, shape, or form forward looking is looking terrible, then the next 3 months, the next quarter is going to be in a very intensive crawl on what's going to be happening. So we're looking for we're looking for clear skies, we're looking for upside. We're going to see. If not, it is going to be a fight for the next 3 months. Back into range, with QQ. We're going to be back down here doing whatever we got to do. So we made it back to near all-time highs. Let's see if bulls can hang on to that going into here. I'm not really worried about what's going on after hours right now. We need to see what happens, but a lot of momentum. I mean, we did lose that there. Now we're kind of hanging on for dear life. Tech is just very weak right now. We'll see. I'm not judging nothing right now. We need to see what happens overnight. We need to see what happens Monday. From there, if they kind of stop it Monday, and then we know it will range into Tuesday. Monday's going to be a little bit more movement for day trades, and then Tuesday, more than likely, we just position ourselves for what we think is about to come next. And then from there, we'll see what we can do. But we got to be traders this week. We got to be ready to fight it out. So I'm ready to fight it out. I'm ready to go. They can do whatever they want. We're going to trust the zones, and we're going to come right back and bank on it. Either way, up, down, doesn't matter. If we got to play some intraday puts and ride right back up, that would be ideal. If SPY ends up losing 600 on the daily, then I will be cutting the long calls. I have to take it. I have to take that loss. It's okay. It depends though. It depends on a lot, but I'm not going to be scared out Monday or Tuesday. I don't care really what happens on that day. I'll take some intraday day trades, but as far as the longs, I got to see what happens on Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, the odds of all of that, the odds of it going mixed is more highly than all of it just kind of selling off. That would just be kind of crazy. I don't think Trump's going to allow that. I don't know. I don't think things are going to be allowed there. Now, the only thing is I'm trying to pay attention to the weekly here, right? If we're getting that third weekly green candle like we usually see after a bullish engulfing, then we're gonna need to see those clues on Monday. Meaning we're gonna need to see these dips get bought up and us kind of come back near, I would say like break even, or like somewhere up near kind of where we closed Friday. That's what we would need to see. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to predict anything. I just don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to trade what we see, not what we think is going to happen. Very interested to see what's going to happen. But think about this as far as the weekly candle, right? If we're looking at a weekly candle, something like this, where, easily something like this is a red candle, sure, and it dipped, but it came all the way back up and even showed some highs up here at 6. I mean, this weekly was a huge weekly, and this was probably the Fed meeting one too as well. So we gotta understand how the weekly's moving as well for us, because even if we're down here, we could even dry up and come right back up. We don't know. We don't care. We just have to pay attention and keep things in mind. Let's not be so chasing one side, other side. Let's just be ready to play both sides and bank off that. So I'm going to be ready as well. SPY and Q. SPY only want upside. Q only want downside. We're attacking strength and weakness when we see it. And so as far as high conviction setups, I'm not really seeing any high conviction setups. So keep an eye on Amazon for that upside, Google for that upside, maybe NVIDIA for the downside, maybe IWM for this gap fill if it comes Monday. But other than that, I'm going to be keeping some smaller size for the day trades Monday and Tuesday. If Tuesday will allow us, I think usually the day before is going to be really rangy, choppy, and it's more of a positioning day. It's not really a press day trade kind of day. So we'll see what we can do with that. I'm ready to go. We're going to need to see ES hold here and MNQ try and hold up here on these demands, and then kind of push it back up. Maybe a V shape, maybe not. Maybe we trickle more down into this area with more support. We'll see. But looks like we're kind of back in, 24, 23. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday range. The lows right there before we kind of pushed off was like Thursday going into Friday. So looking like Wednesday range when we gapped up here. So it makes a lot of sense, especially if we're kind of seeing how we're right back at this area right here, which was, the point of break where we broke above. Now we're retesting, could be a point of support. We'll see though. We'll see. But that's how it's kind of looking like to me for right now, if we're just kind of judging it off of right now. But other than that, let's see if they hold it. We did create gaps above on all these names, so I'm ready to see if we can eat those gaps back up. I'll be ready for that too. Some longs on the way back up as some day trades. Can't wait for that.